So Avengers Endgame is getting a re-release, which it's not really a re-release because it never left theaters. So like it definitely feels weird to call it a re-release. But yeah, like this is controversial somehow. So okay. So let me just tell you what exactly it is. They're just gonna be adding some post-credit scenes. Um, Because if you remember, Avengers Endgame did not have any post credit scenes. They had like the black screen, and you could kind of hear what sounded like Tony. You could hear like a hammer hitting metal or something, and I always interpreted that as just like an homage to when Tony was in the cave and he built his first Iron Man suit. I don't really know if that's exactly what they were going for. I don't know if it was ever confirmed what that noise was, but that's how I always interpreted it. So, but that doesn't count as a post credit scene. But now apparently they're going to be adding post credit scenes, and honestly, I think that's kind of cool. Like, here's the thing. So people are upset. Like, this is controversial for some reason. Like I see people going like, acting like this is some incredible genius take. Like, oh, they're just doing this because they want to beat Avatar. Yeah, no, of course. Like that's not some genius take that you have there that nobody thought of. That is why they're doing it, and that is the first thing everybody thought of when they heard about this. Like, of course, they're doing this to beat Avatar. And honestly, like that's fine. Like Avatar itself, they re-released it, so extending it, adding some more content. That's not like unfair game or anything. Titanic got re-released as well, so extending the run of the movie to get more people to come back, like that's not unheard of. And like I see people like being like, this is like DLC. You gamers are mad at DLC, so you should not like this. No. First of all, the real anger in the gaming community is it's really with microtransactions. Like DLC per se, generally people are fine with. It's microtransactions, which are like when games just nickel and dime you when they're like paywalls to progress. That's the stuff that gamers don't like. DLC it can be a bad thing if you don't get a complete product first, right? So I believe it was Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, where they just released an unfinished game, and then later on they were like, oh, you can buy the rest of the game for $60 more or some shit like that. Like that's when DLC in games is bad. Like if you get a complete game, and then hey, here's like an extra mission or something. Like that's fine, and that's really what this is. It's like we got Avengers Endgame. Like it would be bad if they only released like the first two acts, and they were like, hey, come back later and watch the third act. That's how that would be like a bad thing when comparing it to video games. This is like the way that they're doing this is fine. They're just like, oh hey, you watched Avengers Endgame, you watched the entire movie. Now you can come back and watch some post-credit scenes. Like, I just don't get where the anger is coming from. I don't know. Like, people think they're geniuses when they point out that they are just doing it to beat Avatar. Yeah, like that's an obvious thing that everybody realized. And the whole people being like, it's like DLC. It's like, no, what are you talking about? So yeah, I don't know. I just. I wanted to talk about this because it's actually very interesting because look when Avengers had that, I think it passed $1 billion in its opening weekend. I was like, it has to beat Avatar at this point. But I remember I also said that look, like it may seem like it's going to beat Avatar, but anything can happen, and it is absolutely very possible that it has a really big head start. And then it ends up petering out towards the end of its cycle, and that's kind of what happened. Like the the box office drop offs weekend to weekend were actually pretty big, and they never really like got steady. They never like the drop offs were always pretty big. It didn't like have a big drop off and then kind of become steady. Like it was always just pretty big drop offs. So yeah, I mean, basically what happened was that everybody went to go watch it on an opening weekend, and then they didn't really come back to watch it again. But I mean, look, even if it doesn't end up beating Avatar, it's still the number 2 movie of all time because it did end up beating Titanic. So, like, if it doesn't beat Avatar, it's not a failure. Marvel did not fail. It was not disappointing. No, they still made a shit ton of money. So you know, I mean, yeah, like at the end of the day, I get it. Marvel wants to be the number. They want Avengers Endgame to be the number 1 movie of all time, and I mean, yeah, that's the thing. So I think they're like at $2.1 billion, I think, and they need to get to $2.8 billion to beat Avatar. So I don't know if this re-release is really gonna be enough to get them past $700 million. I don't know. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's not, just because I don't know. I mean, I don't know, like, because obviously you're gonna get like hardcore nerds out there, but is just adding post-credit scenes going to get the general movie-going audience to come back? I don't know, because I mean, I don't know about you, but to this day I still see people getting up when the credits start and leaving. So, like, I don't think that, like, even though it might seem weird to say, but I honestly don't know if, like, the whole concept of post-credit scenes are even, like, I don't know if enough people even know about it, much less is it going to be enough to get them to come back. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I know I said that that even if they don't beat Avatar, that it's still, Avengers Endgame is still a wild success. But fucking, of course I want them to beat that fucking shitty movie that, like, honestly, how did Avatar become the number 1 movie of all time? It still baffles me. I mean, I get it, like, it was probably the 3D or whatever, but, like, that movie came out, became the number 1 movie of all time, and it left, like, no cultural impact. Like, zero. You know? Like, you still see people talking about, like, The Dark Knight. Like, on Halloween, you'll still see Heath Ledger Jokers out there. Nobody ever talks about Avatar anymore, unless they're shitting on it. Like, literally, nobody talks about Avatar unless they're making fun of it. So, like, it still baffles me that Avatar is number 1. I do kind of want Avengers Endgame to beat them, just so that the number 1 movie of all time can be, like, a culturally significant movie. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Avengers Endgame being re-released, because it's not a re-release, it's really not a re-release, do you think it's a bad thing? Like, does it anger you in some way? And also, do you actually think that Avengers Endgame will beat Avatar? I'm not sure, because I'm just not sure how many more people, more post-credit scenes will draw in. I'm just not sure if post-credit scenes are that big of a thing that it's going to get... I don't know if $800 million worth of people... Or, sorry, $700 million worth of people. I don't know if that's enough. Sorry, I'm, like, hiccuping over here. I'm getting gassy. But, yeah, that's basically going to be it for this video. Bye.